Hello and welcome to this special on Australian innovation, on location at the Mount Lawley Senior High School. Like few times in history, a fundamental shift is upon us. Consumers across the globe are increasingly wanting smarter, safer, greener and more accessible products and services that do much more with much less. Today on the program, we're delighted to be joined by the Chief Scientist of WA, Professor Lyn Beazley. We also take a look at an exciting new product to clean up our waterways. A fitness and safety test for employees, cyber technology shows us cutting-edge surveillance drones, and we take a look at several inventions on show at a recent WA Inventors Association evening. But first, we recently went on manoeuvres with the Australian Army Reserve, who showed off some of their latest improvements in equipment and communication.
The shock and awe of battle on display at Lancel in Western Australia as Army Reserve gunners fire their mortars with live ammunition for the first time. Mortars are high trajectory weapons with a short range, but what they lack in distance, they win out in capability. With a high rate of fire, their fragmentation pattern is well suited for close support of ground forces. This is the culmination of a 9-day course for 12 part-time soldiers who are learning how to operate, control and fire the system.
Well, I've been at Sevenfield Battery for 11 years now. I started as a soldier and then went away and did the officer training and came back as a lieutenant. I'm now a captain and I envisage staying for the next 10 to 20 years.
So the Army has a tried and tested way to train soldiers to fire mortars with speed, accuracy and safety.
It's a very safe practice, so there's a lot of safety staff that go into these activities, particularly having an officer in charge of the practice who actually plots where the rounds are going to fall, which is what we do also, but he's a safety check, I guess.
The mortar is a man-portable weapons system which the crew can take on their back virtually anywhere. A weapon that fires an 81mm bomb almost 5 kilometres. The crew learns the key 3 main components: base plate, bipod and tube barrel. How to pull it apart and how to put it all together again. All the training's done in stages. First, it's the Nico round. A sabot or sleeve that drops away when fired with a smaller sub-caliber cartridge inserted.
The dummy rounds that you saw this afternoon or early on this morning will actually lead up to evaluate them and make sure they are safe enough to handle the live explosive.
This builds the soldiers' confidence and prepares them for the real thing. Use of training ammunition is an innovative and cheap way to learn.
Yeah, basically you've got the tail fin here. Okay, this obviously guides it in flight because it's a non-rifle barrel. Primer, which is the firing pin at the bottom of the tube. Your fuse at the top here. This one's actually a point detonation fuse. Basically, when the bomb hits the ground on the other end, direct impact, it explodes. Driving band, this helps with the obturation, so the escaping gases obviously can't get out, forces the round out. So it's quite a simple operation.
The mortar fires several different types of ammunition, and to avoid confusion, each round, or bomb, is colour-coded to make it easy to tell the difference.
So this is a light blue round, it's a prac round, so it has a small detonation at the other end. Okay, if you have an olive drab colour, so a green, that's a high explosive round, which is going to have a big bang at the other end.
Today, the gunners are firing high-explosive practice rounds. This projectile comprises a head, which bursts when the projectile strikes the target, and contains a marking agent which optically indicates the point of impact. The gunners can't actually see their target, so they rely on a joint fires team to tell them where to shoot.
My role's as the Joint Fires Team Commander, so I'm in charge of a Joint Fires team that sits away from the mortar line. We could be anywhere up to 4 or 5 kilometres away.
The team members are known as forward observers for a good reason. They work on the front line, calling in fire as assaulting infantry get close up and personal on their objective. There's no room for error as the fire team observes the fall of the shot and adjusts the rounds onto the target. Students on the course also learn to become a command post operator. This is perhaps the most important part of the fire control procedure. Their primary task, to convert the orders received from the Joint Fires team into the firing data to control the mortar shoot. And they get a little help from modern technology, which calculates all fire control information. This means they can deliver rounds on target in the quickest and safest way possible. The Australian Army, whether regular or reserve, is constantly innovating. Communication, which began with flags, lamps and pigeons, now makes use of the most advanced technology available. So advanced, we actually can't show it to you. It's not just about lobbing bombs in the general direction of the enemy. These days, the Army have laser rangefinders, night vision devices and GPS.
If we know our location on the ground, if we know where we are, and we have a GPS grid, we can use a laser rangefinder just to more accurately fire a mission. It'll give us a bearing and a range to the target.
The Army Reserve just gives me different challenges. It enables me to be able to bring in the skills that I have developed over the years as a nurse in the emergency department.
It's good to know that whether the Army is defending our country or operating as a peacekeeping force, they have the technology and the training to do it safely and effectively.
Well, we're pleased to be joined on the program now by the Chief Scientist of WA, Professor Lyn Beazley. Lyn, welcome to the program.
Delighted to be here.
Tell me, what are the duties of a Chief Scientist?
Well, I report to government, of course, to the Minister of Science and Innovation, but also to the Premier. But my job is much wider than that. It's facilitating science and engineering, getting out and talking to people in the community, bringing together the community, industry, all those wonderful academic gurus who are out there working away, and people within government, trying to make sure that it all works as efficiently as possible for a better Western Australia for all of us.
Well, science, of course, goes far beyond chemistry sets and the stars. I guess you would agree with that.
Absolutely everything we do, from our mobile phone in the morning right through to driving our car. We obviously want more efficient ways of doing that to save fuel. Within Western Australia, of course, so many of us work in the resources sector, getting safer, better ways to extract our minerals, to get our oil and gas that we so need for an energy-hungry world, and doing it in a way that makes minimum impact on the environment. This is science in action. Just think when we eat our breakfast, the bread, that in 100 years we have doubled the production per hectare for wheat in Western Australia, and that's all science that's made it happen, with the farmers doing it, of course.
Sometimes it seems as though all the inventions have been invented. Do you think that's true?
I think just the opposite. I think the rate of invention is getting faster and faster. Just imagine what we can do now. Think when men went to the moon, they probably used computers that had less in them than we have in a mobile phone now. So I think we're in an extraordinary age of tremendous potential. A lot of challenges, we know that, but the potential is huge. Every day I see new things happening in Western Australia that just amaze me and excite me.
Give us some examples.
Gosh, well, for example, let's go back to the gold example. We think of gold in large nuggets. Now we know it's there in nanoparticles too. We could be looking for those, and we indeed are. Other examples would be, well, of course, our big radio telescope that's going to happen in Western Australia, the largest science project on the planet, the Square Kilometre Array. A lot of innovation going into that. Amount of information it will generate will lead to new generations of supercomputers. These are extreme examples, but they're just what's happening in Western Australia day by day to make sure that we have a better place to live. That's the aim of it all.
Well, if any of our viewers do have a great invention, what should they do?
Well, one thing is to go to the Inventors Association. That's absolutely hotbed of great ideas. But other ways to come forward, well, the Chief Scientist is always there as an avenue. Talk to people in your local CSIRO or universities. They will be only too delighted to hear about your ideas, because so many things start in a back shed and end up influencing the world.
Now, you've got a lot of ideas too, and we can find you on Twitter.
You can indeed. If you go on to @ChiefSci_WA, and you will find me there, and I would absolutely love to have more Twitter followers, because you can see what I'm doing every single day.
Professor Lyn Beazley, thank you very much for being on the program.
It's been an honour. Thank you so much for having me.
Leading the way in water cleansing technology, Marine Easy Clean has developed an environmentally friendly, non-fuss approach to keeping your pond, aquarium or pool water crystal clear.
Marine Easy Clean water cleanser enhances nature by breeding nature. It is already widely distributed and in use. However, further studies are being conducted to diversify its application.
The water cleanser was invented by Robert Morgan in 2000 at Blue Lagoon Pearls, a pearl farm at Monkey Mia in Western Australia. Through Robert's research, he discovered some key processes.
Whilst I was working for Blue Lagoon Pearls, I was conducting studies into the anti-fouling properties of hydrocarbons in wax. And basically I discovered when you put hydrocarbons in wax, they won't release any hydrocarbons into the water, but what they do is they allow natural oil-eating microbes the vitamins they require to survive and breed in large numbers. And then what they do is they get their main food source from consuming organic waste.
Importantly, they eat the waste more effectively, with burning half the oxygen than bacteria. Following this discovery, further research was required to ascertain the right mix of hydrocarbons to carry out the process. As just like us, we can't survive on just one vitamin, we require a mix. Unlike other products, the water cleanser stops waste from producing toxins during the breakdown process, which leaves you with crystal clear water. Importantly, Marine Easy Clean Water Cleanser is safe for plants and fish.
The exciting result of the water cleanser is definitely for the consumer, whether you have a pool, an aquarium or a pond. After all, we buy all of these for pleasure, and the water cleanser ensures you get just that.
The water cleanser is suitable for all types of systems to clear dirty, cloudy water in saltwater and freshwater. Such include, but are not limited to, fresh and saltwater fish tanks, fresh and saltwater ponds, garden water features, domestic or commercial pools, sewerage ponds or even canals and rivers.
In commercial applications, a relatively small amount of the water cleanser can actually dramatically improve the health of a large body of water. Whilst not actually clearing that body of water itself, the microbes oxygenate the surface soil, and it also stops the foul smell coming from rotting organic waste, which in turn improves the overall health for all wildlife in that environment. Current studies are now being conducted by the University of Western Australia and Edith Cowan University.
For more information, updates on the research or to find a stockist, please visit marineeasyclean.com.au.
Well, before Federation, Australians demonstrated how innovative they were. Thousands of years ago, Indigenous Australians developed tools like fish traps. When European settlers arrived, they also had to be ingenious and invent many mechanical devices to survive and thrive. Early inventions included the stump jump plough, the Hills hoist and the Victor lawnmower. Lisa Lorino went along to a recent WA Inventors Association meeting to discover some of the latest ideas.
The Inventors Association of Western Australia is one of several affiliated inventors associations in Australia. These organisations provide personal guidance to novice inventors, educational programs, networking opportunities and publicity opportunities. Most inventors are ordinary folk like you and me. In daily life, we see things that could be improved or a need for something new. To most of us, these are passing thoughts, but to an inventor, these ideas become worth pursuing. I am currently at the West Australian Inventors Association Showcase. This showcase is open to any West Australian innovation or invention suitable for display. There are some fantastic displays here tonight. Let's take a look. The Quick Boat is a collapsible small boat that can be hung on a garage wall, taking up no floor space. The Quick Boat can be assembled by 2 people in under 60 seconds, cruise at 15 to 20 knots with 2 to 3 people on board, powered by an 8 horsepower motor. GoPC.net is a cloud-based IT network which cuts IT costs, speeds deployments and eliminates software license issues. The innovation puts the entire IT network inside the memory of a supercomputer and reduces the IT industry as we know it into a click. Created in Perth, the technology is used globally. The Easy Wrapper is an innovative dispenser that houses and safely cuts cling wrap. It has a sleek, modern look, is reliable and safe, and cuts cling wrap perfectly every time. Odour Ritter and Odour Vents are chemical-free, low-cost systems used for treating foul air from sealed sewage systems. The treatment plant not only removes odours, it reduces acids which corrode concrete sewers with huge savings in repairs. Water Wing is a swimming aid that is fun to use and helps improve your swimming abilities and confidence in the water. It assists in strengthening core muscles, improving swimming techniques and breath control. The Bison Lifter is a device for carrying heavy sheets such as compressed sheeting, glass and granite bench tops. This innovation promotes the correct lifting methods and reduces back injuries. The Whisper Acoustic Termite Detector is a minute acoustic sensor, so sensitive it can detect termite infestation by hearing them chew timber. When installed around a house, the devices listen for the termites' munching sounds, and when detected, an SMS or email is sent to the pest control company with the termites' location. Elementors is an exciting new educational children's card game. The cards are characters based on chemical characteristics of the first 18 elements in the periodic table. In the course of a game, players have fun while learning about the chemistry of these elements. The GPS logbook is a compact trip recorder and automatically records the vehicle's trips using GPS positions. The GPS logbook has a large memory, permitting operation for months at a time. Z-Rid is an amazing automatic cutout device for arc welders. A wireless trigger is used to start the arc, and power from the welder continues until the arc is broken. This system eliminates electrical shocks, accidental arc flashes, and dramatically improves safety. For further information on the Inventors Association, or if you would like to become a member, please visit the website.
We could be looking at the future West Australians making their mark in the field of science in years to come. Mount Lawley Senior High School runs an academic extension program for its budding scientists in years 8 to 12, which is having terrific results.
Mount Lawley Senior High School has a very good rate of transitioning students from school into university programs, and a lot of our students enter science areas such as medicine, health professions and the sciences themselves.
WA Chief Scientist Lynn Beasley came to check it all out, invited by one of the most familiar voices on Australian television, Logie Award-winning newsreader and media personality Russell Goodrick. She is on a continual mission to demystify complex scientific concepts to help make science accessible for everyone and a viable career path.
So one of my messages is, do what you like, what you're good at and enjoy, and it can take you in all sorts of directions.
It is all about igniting a lifelong passion for these young discoverers.
They can get the best training and the best opportunities here. The demonstration of this drone that's happening behind me, world-leading science and engineering, great universities, great TAFE sector where they can study. So it's here, you don't need to go away, but if you want to, it's going to be a passport to the world.
The professor's passion for promoting her chosen field is inspiring. So too is the inspiration behind one of the state's homegrown success stories, cyber technology. What started out to fulfil a childhood dream of wanting to design a microjet engine to power a radio-controlled model aircraft has resulted in this company becoming an industry leader and innovator in the unmanned aerial vehicle design and manufacture right here in WA. The senior school's budding scientists got a chance to see firsthand where science has led some people in their professional lives.
It's really good for us to come to the schools like this and show the students where the drudge of their schoolwork and the late night studying can eventually end up producing equipment and technology like we do.
Cyber technology has supplied drones like these to various agencies here in Australia as well as overseas. This is called the Cyber i2, also known as the Cyber Quad. It is a long endurance surveillance platform for persistent aerial observation.
The Cyber Quad is just one of several drones the company has invented and built right here in WA. Its advanced design provides for up to 10 hours of continuous mission time. It's the perfect craft to help detect, localise and track. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to perhaps follow your dreams and realise that by studying science, you too could invent one of these.
I was absolutely inspired. It was incredible to see just how many avenues that science can open up for everyone. So many things I didn't even realise you could do after you left school, and it was just incredible.
Well, it's always inspiring seeing different science aspects, especially when you're a student who really does want to do science, and I'm definitely one of those students.
Garash Ish is already carving a career path literally to the stars.
There's an introduction of the new telescope called the SKA, Square Kilometre Array, and I look forward to that, and that might be an opportunity to work in the area of astronomy.
If any of these amazing young minds ever wondered whether they could have a future in science, their questions have been well and truly answered with a resounding yes.
Over 250,000 people in Australia work in the mining industry, and with that comes growing pressure on mining companies to provide safe and healthy work environments. There's also responsibility for employees to maintain satisfactory levels of fitness to work safely. So how does this vast workforce manage these obligations? Well, individual testing is the short answer, testing for any impairments to an employee's personal performance prior to them starting work. And this is where Australian company AusPat is providing solutions. No single test can identify all the likely causes of what will impair someone's ability to work safely. Some tests specifically focus on drugs and alcohol, but performance can be affected by a range of other factors including fatigue, stress, illness and psychological issues which are more difficult to test. AusPat approaches employee performance testing quite differently. Using one of these terminals and a simple 1-minute hand-eye coordination procedure, employees work through a series of simple tests to establish a personal profile. Then, every day, their assessment results are compared against their benchmark profile to determine if they're fit for work, and their profile is automatically updated. The real difference here is that AusPat doesn't use artificial or industry standards to judge a person's performance, but using a single consistent test, it can check how a person normally responds to a task, as opposed to how they respond when they're tired, stressed, or under the influence of drugs and alcohol, all of which show up very obviously. Impairment can result from any one of many factors operating together. For example, a person having an excess of alcohol may be suffering a hangover and have had little sleep, which would normally mean a poor test result. AusPat tests identify the level of the impairment, which is the most important factor for working safely. If identifying the cause is important, it can be assessed by other professionals. Phil, what kind of skills are you testing with the AusPat equipment?
We're testing the person's response to a visual stimulus. In this case, it's a crosshair moving over a target. The task is to keep the crosshair centred on the target. The way the person does this in terms of speed, accuracy, velocity, etc. is unique. It's rather like a fingerprint. But in this case, it's not a fingerprint, it's a personal profile. Once the person's done the test for a few times, they build up their own individual personal profile. And every time they do the test, they're comparing today's performance with their previous test against the profile. Each time a person comes to work, they take the test, and the results of the test are compared against their personal profile. If they pass the test, they go to work as normal. If they fail the test, they report to the supervisor, and it's their supervisor's responsibility to implement policies and guidelines that the particular company's put in place to determine what action to take next.
Each system is tailor-made for the organisation and has built-in suggested actions for supervisors to take, as well as fail-safes to escalate actions for employees with impaired performance whose events are not dealt with in accordance with agreed policies. So Rolly, what are the longer-term benefits of the AusPat system?
The main benefit is safety. We want to encourage people to be aware of what they've got to do to be fit when they go to work. But we also want supervisors to be aware of their duty of care for safety.
Currently, some 30,000 employees every day in different industries and countries around the world are using AusPat, and the number is steadily growing. Not surprising really, because this is a question of safety. AusPat exists to help employers and employees alike. This non-judgmental form of testing is fast, economic and easy to administer. More importantly, AusPat helps improve safety in the workplace by providing impairment assessments for everybody every day. It also increases the reporting of unsatisfactory results for further action. For more information about AusPat, speak to Phil Harmon or Rolly Brazier about a workplace trial.
Well, that's the end of our program today. We hope that you've gained a little knowledge about science and innovation. Long before our mining boom comes to an end, we need to be thinking of new, innovative and practical ways to support us individually and as a nation. Traditional innovation is not enough. Until next time, good innovating and good luck with your ideas.